Your baby wakes in the middle of the night and then just won't settle again. Not a quick feed and back to sleep, not a brief cuddle. We're talking fully awake at 2 a.m, ready to party, squirming, fussing, wanting to play, or seeming completely wired for hours. This is often called a split night, and it can feel absolutely brutal for families. And this is the point where many parents start searching for a hidden explanation: reflux, allergy, teething, overtiredness, undertiredness, a regression, a deficiency, a sleep association. Now, sometimes there is a clear contributing factor, but honestly, split nights are rarely explained by one simple thing. In many cases, what's happening is a collision of development, regulation, sleep pressure, temperament, and environment. One of the most overlooked drivers is development itself. Research by Damasi and colleagues found that infant sleep disruption commonly increases around major gross motor milestones, which makes complete sense when you think about it. Babies are not static little beings. Their brains and bodies are changing rapidly, and sleep is deeply intertwined with that development. A child who is learning to crawl, pull to stand, cruise or walk is processing enormous motor, neurological and sensory change. Some children seem barely affected by this. Others become much more wakeful, alert, unsettled or activated overnight. At the same time, sleep pressure still matters. Total sleep across 24 hours still matters. Regulation still matters. Temperament still matters, which is why split nights are so difficult to reduce to one neat explanation or one perfect fix. Hi, I'm Lyndsey, paediatric nurse, IBCLC and co-founder of the Holistic Sleep Coaching Program, where we train practitioners around the world to support infant and child sleep through biology, development, regulation and relationship rather than rigid behavioural approaches. One of the biggest mistakes in the sleep space is treating all night waking as the same thing. A child who briefly wakes and resettles independently is very different from a child who becomes fully awake for long stretches overnight. So in this video, we're going to unpack what's often going on underneath the split nights and prolonged overnight waking, and why the answer is rarely as simple as people think. The first thing to understand is that sleep is not just about tiredness. Sleep relies on both sleep pressure and nervous system regulation. Sleep pressure is the gradual biological drive to sleep that builds while we're awake. If there's not enough pressure overnight, some children will simply wake fully and struggle to return to sleep. At the same time, even if a child is tired enough, dysregulation can still disrupt sleep. This is why split nights are often not caused by one single thing. They're usually a combination of development, sleep timing, total sleep across 24 hours, regulation, temperament, sensory processing, and environment. I really want to stay with development for a moment because I think it's massively underestimated in the sleep world. Sleep often changes when children are changing. Gross motor development is a huge one. Rolling, crawling, standing and walking are all associated with temporary increases in night waking for many children. Language bursts can do it too. So can social and emotional development, separation awareness, and periods of rapid cognitive change. And importantly, children experience these changes differently. One child learns to crawl and carries on sleeping exactly the same. Another spends half the night practicing standing in their cot and yelling for company at 3 a.m. That difference is not necessarily parenting. It's often temperament interacting with development. Highly alert, highly sensitive, or deeply persistent children frequently experience developmental periods much more intensely. And when nervous systems are highly activated by learning and processing, sleep often becomes lighter and more fragmented for a while. Now, alongside development, we also need to think about sleep pressure. This is probably one of the most common contributors to true split nights. If a child has had more sleep in the daytime than they biologically need, nighttime sleep can become fragmented. This is especially common during nap transitions, when sleep needs reduced developmentally, or when bedtime is really early. A child may genuinely have completed enough total sleep by 2 or 3 a.m. that there is simply not enough sleep pressure left to maintain sleep. This does not mean naps are bad, but there's only so much total sleep the body needs across 24 hours. And this is where simplistic phrases like sleep breeds sleep can become unhelpful. Sometimes longer naps absolutely help regulation and improve nights. Sometimes they reduce overnight sleep pressure and contribute to split nights instead. Now let's add the nervous system piece. Some children wake overnight and become fully activated emotionally and physically. A dysregulated child may become wide awake, want interaction, cry intensely, seem impossible to settle, or fluctuate between distress and hyper-alertness. This activation can happen because of overstimulation, developmental leaps, sensory processing differences, stress, changes in routine, illness, separation needs, or simply a highly sensitive temperament. Once the nervous system shifts into a more activated state, sleep becomes much harder to access. This is where co-regulation becomes so important. Babies and young children rely heavily on proximity, touch, movement, feeding, and connection to help their nervous systems settle back down again. Some children can drift back into sleep relatively independently between cycles. Others can't yet, and that difference is often heavily influenced by temperament. The broader rhythm of the day matters enormously in split nights. Helpful questions include: has bedtime gradually drifted too early? Has daytime sleep increased? Has the child's activity level changed? Are they getting enough movement and stimulation in the daytime? Has the evening become very chaotic or overstimulating? Are there developmental changes happening? Has family life become stressful or dysregulated recently? Sometimes split nights are the nervous system's way of signalling, this rhythm no longer fits me particularly well right now. And often the solution is not one dramatic intervention, it's gentle recalibration. So what helps? The answer depends on understanding why the child cannot settle overnight. Helpful approaches may include reviewing total sleep across 24 hours, looking at whether sleep needs have shifted, adjusting bedtime timing, reducing excessive daytime sleep if appropriate, supporting regulation, increasing movement and daylight exposure, creating calmer evening transitions, supporting sensory needs, increasing connection and co-regulation, and adjusting expectations during intense developmental periods. Most importantly, it helps to stop viewing split nights as behavioural failure, because usually they're just communication. So if your baby wakes for long stretches overnight, try not to jump straight to, how do I stop this? Instead, ask, what might this child's biology, development and nervous system be communicating? Because split nights are rarely random, they're often explained by a combination of development, sleep pressure, regulation, temperament and daily rhythm. Once you understand these layers, sleep becomes much easier to interpret compassionately and realistically. If this approach resonates with you, you'll find more videos on the channel where we unpack sleep through the lens of biology, development and relationship rather than rigid sleep rules. And if you want to understand this work more deeply as a practitioner, you might find our earlier videos helpful. Check out our video on another popular and controversial topic, why we're not big fans of wake windows.